Hello there. Welcome to the new moon report. I'm coming to you from home instead of my studio, so you see some different backgrounds and colors. I want to talk about the tarot for this new moon. It's in Cancer. It's at 28 degrees Cancer. The sun is also at 28 degrees Cancer. And it's opposing the same configuration as we got at the solstice in June, which means it's opposing Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. So if you had anything happen to you around that eclipse of the 21st of June, you could maybe see some of that energy being revisited because it's a similar opposition of similar planets. We're going to go into the chart of this new moon after the cards. First, I want to bring you the tarot reading of this new moon energy. So our first card today is the Ten of Cups, and as you see, I'm using a different deck. I bought a new deck called the Light Seers Tarot, and I'm still learning it, and it's really beautiful. It's got a different representation than your traditional decks, and in a, let's say, a more spiritual way than the other decks. Maybe new agey, if you want to say, or holistic or self-healing, or it's got a lighter vibe to it. And I figured we all might appreciate a lighter perspective given the times we're in. So our first card is the Ten of Cups, and the Ten of Cups is a good card for a happy family, for love, for bonding, you know, whether it's family or groups, whether it's your children, whether it's your community, or even a group of friends. But it's a happy bonding card. And you can see that there's different cups around, and they're floating above in formation. They look almost like Tibetan bowls, and they cover all the colors of the chakras. They're surrounded by this beautiful ribbon-like energy, which is a rainbow. And if you look closer, it even looks like it could be a fish. It sort of looks like there's an eye and a mouth to it, but it's being surrounded by this diversity, color, and healing and love. And you see a happy couple, and yeah, sorry. So you have this very harmonious, nice, lovely, happy family, happy community, happy group of friends, spiritual family type of card. So this seems to be either where you're at or it's the goal. Our next card is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is usually when we feel saturated and we want to just give up or walk away from something. In this case, it's represented in a nicer way because you see this cup floating in the water, and there is a nice it looks like a lotus, or it could even be a little fire. And she's got her white flowing robes, and she's looking very free, and she's just letting it go, walking away. But she's walking away peacefully, not with distress or abandonment or, you know, giving up on life like in other Eight of Cups. So this is a chosen letting go. So you could also find yourself at a place where you need to walk away or let go of somebody or something, and to try to do it with peace and also consciousness, and maybe with a ritual or a ceremony of your own design to help you let go. The next card is beautiful Two of Cups, which is usually the love card. It's usually the happy couple or the lovers card. And you can see two hands intertwined, and again we see a diversity of a couple, which I love in this deck. And then it's creating these different colors in the different bowls, which are sort of greenish and pinkish, which are both the heart chakra colors. So we have the blending of two hearts, the blending of their two energies, creating these two cups. And so it's usually a very strong emotional bond, and very often romantic. Again, this might represent what you're really longing for, or what you want to bring into your life. And with a moon in Cancer and a sun in Cancer, we're all looking for a little tenderness, a little love, a little safe place to fall, a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to hug. The next card, again, cups. We have beautiful Ace of Cups. And you see she's holding a cup which is just beaming with love. And it's radiating out as rays of sunlight. It's got a red heart. And it even seems to be, whether that's water or smoke passing through down towards the left. This is an overflowing heart. This is somebody who has a lot of love to offer. So it's really asking us to offer this love and forgiveness and patience, compassion to ourselves and to others, and to bring that love into our lives. We need to be in this good place. Our next card is the Sun, which is, again, look how beautiful that is. Celebration. Out in front of the beautiful sun. It's beaming its light towards her. She's completely free. It looks a bit like a sunrise almost, or possibly sunset. There's a bit of dusky color. And the light is just giving her so much passion and joy. This, I know, might seem like contrary to what we're living right now, because we're all in a very fearful time, and there's a reason for the fear, but we're also being filled with more fear all the time. And the only way to conquer fear is with this love or this joy. The Sun card is a mature joy, which means you choose to be happy, and you choose to see the good, and you choose to focus on what's good, despite knowing the bad. It's not naive, the Sun. The Sun is very aware. It's been through a lot, and it says, you know what? There's crap in the world. There's crappy people. There's crappy, negative, nasty things going on in the world. But you know what? There's also good things in the world, and there's still hope, and there's still love, and there's still good people in the world. I am going to choose to focus on that. Our next card is the Queen of Cups, again, with our cups. Now, if you look how beautiful she is, she's half underwater and half above. And her focus is on her spiritual side. You can almost see her third eye beaming upwards. Her hands are radiating out energy. This woman is clearly in a trance, and she is manifesting and drawing down healing energy and love through her. So this might be something for you to consider. What do you need to do to bring in more self-healing and more self-love? What practices do you have that help connect you or put you in a meditative or calm state? What things do you know how to do to manifest what you want? Maybe it's affirmations, it's stronger meditation. And it's really not so much about magically bringing in material things to your life at all. It's about her connection to spirit here is very strong, or to her inner self. And it's how does she tap into that in such a beautiful way that it transcends everything else. Then we have our Queen of Wands, and she just looks like a ball of fun. She's holding a little firefly or flame in her hand, so she's got full control over her will. She's got this lovely black cat sitting at her feet, like her sentinel, her magic familiar, her protector. It just shows awareness and sensitivity and the ability to, again, manifest something magically. All these candles around her, all this pink. She just looks like she's going to go grab it. Whatever she wants, she's just going to get up and start dancing and do it. She's not going to use inner or energetic techniques like the Queen of Cups. She's going to be more visceral, and she's going to just stand up and say, hey, let's play. So you have to choose which one of these two you are. Which one of the two of these is the way that you're going to bring in more positive energy into your psyche. And then we have the Nine of Cups as well. And you can see that she's below the water, and she is joyfully throwing the cups up to float around her. And there's golden sun energy penetrating right through the water, and there is a treasure chest at the bottom. So this is a very joyful, abundant card, and it knows even under the water, even in the depths of whatever's going on, there is light and there is abundance, and she is tapping into that. And we also have to know that is true as well. And when I say abundance, I'm not talking money. I'm talking about spiritual abundance, about your connection to God, the Creator, whatever it is that you aspire to or pray to. And you can be filled with that love and that light, despite being underwater, so to speak. And our final card is the Four of Swords. What a beautiful little card. She's in a little bird's nest. She's got a little red string tied around, and there's a little heart on the string. And she's sleeping very peacefully. And we all know a bird's nest is precarious, but she's found a perfect little spot to cocoon and take a nap, and she feels completely safe. Can she just look? Don't you just feel the safety she feels? And even her pants are like a little robin's egg color. It's lovely. So this is advising you that you need to take some time out and rest, and you need to figure out what your little safe havens are. Where is your cocoon? Where can you give yourself a spot or time or a nap where you feel as safe and rested as she does? And from there, you're going to start to be able to draw in this positive energy, and it will be clear to you at some point who and what you're walking away from or letting go of that will help aid you to bring you that peace. So we're going to take a look now at the astrology chart. So I'm going to put the astrology chart up, and then you will hear my voice talking about the transits. So this month we have our new moon is at 28 degrees Cancer. So is the sun. And we have it opposing Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto again in Capricorn. So we're getting a bit more familiar with what that energy is, right? It's the energy that we're in this entire year of challenges to government, challenges to the corporations, restructuring and rebalancing, or overthrowing in some ways the very foundations of what we've built our society on. Now that sounds awfully dramatic, and it is, but we have been going through this since this aspect arrived, which happened in January of this year, right as the pandemic was announced and began to spread badly in China. So this whole year is colored by these influences until Jupiter leaves the sign, and Saturn will once again leave. But for the time being, up until around December, we're in this pattern. Now, it gets challenged a few times this year when the sun squares it. So we had it in April with Aries, and definitely early April was a very difficult time. Now it comes along, and we had the same kind of opposition when the sun opposed it in Cancer when we had the eclipse on the 21st of June. So you might find some of the themes going on around that eclipse are repeated again for this new moon. The new moon and the sun are conjoined in Cancer and opposing these things again. So we're always looking at this dichotomy between male and female energy. And it doesn't mean men and women, it means male and female energy. So we're looking at Capricorn as the builder, the father, the patriarch, the corporation, the government, the banker, the one that's building the foundation, that's laying down rules, that's taskmaster, that's saying, get it done, work hard, push, push, push. And we're opposed by the moon and the sun in Cancer that's saying, no, find that little space like that woman in the bird's nest. Find your cocoon, find your womb, find that little quiet spot, find that place where it's dark and cool and you can just be. Find that little trust in yourself, where there's a seed under the earth and you can't see it, but you know it's there, and it will eventually grow and come above the surface again. But for now, it's underground and it needs to be there. And that is the feminine energy. And that might be going on in ways such as, let's say you have a new idea, something you want to do, something that's you're thinking of launching, something that you're thinking of deciding and changing. The feminine principle would say, do not share it. Keep it to yourself. Let it be the seed under the ground. Feel the potency, feel the power of keeping it to yourself. Not because it's secretive, but because there's power in mystery and keeping things for yourself. And as it starts to grow and blossom and bloom, people say, oh, what is that? And then you can say, oh yes, I planted that a year ago and now it's happening. And there's something wonderful about that. Versus the other side of the coin, the Capricorn planets would say, announce it to the whole world. Ask people to sponsor it. Write something up about it. Go tell everybody. Ask a million opinions about it. And it's extroverted energy for your project. But it's sort of constantly trying to build and try and plan and put it out there and convince and show. And that's masculine energy. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But because we're in a time where this is being very challenged, we really need to return to the feminine principles to heal things. So if you can think of anything that you're considering doing or that you really want, you might want to consider keeping it for yourself right now. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up about this astrology chart that you can see, where you see all the red lines is where there are oppositional planets and where there is tension. So as you can see, the sun and the moon are in tension with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. They are also squaring Mars and Chiron in Aries. And this is where I am advising that you sort of pick your battles very wisely and lay low from conflicts, because Chiron and Mars together in Aries squaring Pluto and Saturn could be the energy of another type of uprising, rebellion, looting, a confrontation, flipping out, a fight. And with Chiron there, it means there's a wound. So they're not acting from a strong Mars place. They're acting from a wounded place. So this kind of, you know, when you think of somebody who's acting out when they're feeling sorry for themselves, somebody who's showing force when they're feeling unappreciated and bitter, they don't act very well, do they? And this is the kind of energy that we're seeing, to me, with these squares of Chiron and Mars in Aries squaring off with all of this other energy that I'm mentioning of the masculine and feminine. Now, the best place in the chart is also the same as the advice I'm giving. The best aspects in this chart for this moon are the Cancer planets, the sun and the moon making a nice angle to Neptune, which is in Pisces. Now, Neptune in Pisces with Cancer planets just really wants things to be nice and peaceful, tuning in to how they feel, being sensitive and aware of those around them, having things quiet, retreating maybe into their own creative life or their own fantasies, their dreams, reading books, escaping with music, daydreaming, reading or writing poetry. Maybe they're binge watching something. Maybe they're cooking really good food while they're at it because it's Cancer and it rules the stomach. And the best energy in the whole chart of this new moon is to nurture yourself with the quiet, feminine energy and try to stay out of any unnecessary conflicts or places where there could be an upsurge of conflict. And right now that also coincides with our social distancing, because if you put yourself out somewhere where there's problems with people revolting against things, or there's big groups, or there's bars or beaches or something that's not quite so safe, just, you know, because of the pandemic, but also it's not safe because of social distancing, and have everybody's different opinions about things, masks and such. And I'm not going to weigh in either way. I'm just saying the potential for conflict is high. And if I felt like the fight was worth fighting, then I would tell you. But in this case, because it's Chiron and people's bitter feeling sorry, me wounds are on display, it's not advisable. And you also need to guard against your own reactions to other things in your life that way as well, that you're not coming from a wounded or bitter kind of place in yourself, even if you're in your own four walls, even if you're not dealing with anybody and you're thinking about your past. Think about whether your wound is being reactivated or whether you're being realistic before you act on anything. So it's a very good moon for resting and self-healing, and it's not the greatest moon for gathering. And honestly, I will tell you, like, when I read astrology charts, I look at them almost like tarot cards now, and I analyze the planets, but I will get a first initial gut feeling based on the configuration that I see visually. And my first feeling when I looked at the chart of this new moon was bleh, just blah, bleh. Just this feeling of inertia, like no energy, no desire. So it's possible sometimes when conflicting energy in the planets happens, it can create inertia too. It can create a flat line. It's always going to depend on many things and individuals. I also wanted to share with you something that came up just in case it applies to you, and that is that a lot of empaths and intuitives that are friends with me have told me that they have felt particularly anxious in the last few days, since around the 14th of July. Like jumping out of your skin kind of anxiety that they're not used to experiencing. And everyone I know feels something is coming, including me. And as it turns out, I ran into some people taking photos of a comet the other night, and it's called Neowise. And this comet hasn't shown up on Earth for thousands of years, and it won't be back again for another 6,000 years. And the trajectory of this comet goes from the July 14th to the 27th. So I'm going to venture to say, perhaps we're feeling the energy of the comet, and it is bringing something. There is something big shifting, and I can't tell you whether we will see it on the news or whether it's happening behind the scenes, but a lot of people have a very strong feeling of something like this, and they're getting a lot of anxiety. So once again, I'm going to put my 2 cents in that this new moon, the 20th of July, and the days before and after would be very good to go within and to rest and try to stay as quiet and calm as you can. And with that, I wish you a wonderful new moon period. And if you need a reading or guidance from me, if I can help you in any way, you can reach me at river-rain.com.